Today's Science in the News, 3D printed buildings. The reason I'm talking about this is that a Dutch couple last week moved into their 3D printed house, which is the first 3D printed house in the Netherlands. So it hit the news for that reason. So what is 3D printing? It's an additive process by which we mean that the thing is built up by adding layers, as opposed to a subtractive process, which is what building tends to be, where you take a lump of stone, for example, and you cut it to be the way you want it to be. So rather than removing material, you're adding material to build your structure from scratch. So that's a crucial element to this. It's CAD/CAM, computer-aided design, computer-aided manufacture, and that's very important too. The CAD aspect of this allows us to make really quite intricate and unusual designs, and because of the computer-aided manufacture element to it, you can make really unusual things. Why do we care? Well, this gives us the potential for fast on-site production of emergency shelters in disaster areas, for example. It's cheaper than conventional building methods. Not massively, but maybe 20% cheaper. So it is cheaper. And NASA are looking into using 3D printers to build accommodation on Mars. The big benefit there is that they can use the materials that are on Mars already, rather than having to take the materials to Mars, which of course would be tremendously difficult and hugely expensive. So why is it a good thing? You have this fast production of your buildings. You have almost zero material waste because you're not subtracting material to make your whatever it may be, but you're building it up. You have a lot less waste. And you have that extra level of creativity you can add to it, because if you can think of it, you can design it and make it. So you can have very interesting, unusual buildings. And it can be done in remote areas, for example, where there is no electricity. So it allows you to work in unusual places, in disaster areas. So it is, in that sense, potentially more flexible than conventional building. And the challenges? Well, it costs a lot of money to set this up. Whilst the buildings themselves may be cheaper, it's not cheap for the company doing the building to get themselves started in this. There's a general labour shortage in the construction industry anyway, and there's a particular labour shortage for the people able to do this. And of course, you can't just set up your machine and let it go. You've got to check what it's doing is up to standard, and you need people to do that.